Vapor intrusion is a process by which volatile chemicals that can evaporate easily, can move from contaminated soil or groundwater into overlying buildings. Until recently, vapor intrusion was not routinely considered in environmental investigations. Because of the potential for volatile chemicals to affect indoor air quality, vapor intrusion has become a significant concern at many environmental cleanup sites worldwide. Vapor intrusion from chemicals is uncommon but should be considered when there is a known source of soil or groundwater contamination nearby. The occurrence of vapor intrusion depends on many different factors, such as type and concentration of chemicals, site geology and hydrogeology, building characteristics, including type and condition of foundation and use of heating, ventilation, and air conditioning systems, the locations of buildings with respect to contaminated soil or groundwater, and the existence of underground utilities and access points that may create pathways for vapors to enter the building. Since all of these factors can influence whether or not vapor intrusion may occur, it can be difficult to predict potential impacts to indoor air quality without conducting an actual site investigation. To help solve this challenge, procedures have been developed for conducting a vapor intrusion site investigation. These procedures are provided in guidance documents available from state and federal regulatory agencies, the Interstate Technology and Regulatory Council, or ITRC, and the Department of Defense. At some sites, the existence of a vapor intrusion pathway may be apparent based on odors or other observable site conditions. At other sites, it may not be readily apparent and will involve the collection of several types of samples which will be used as lines of evidence to determine whether or not vapor intrusion is a concern. Following step-by-step procedures will ensure the consistency and accuracy of the site investigation and protect human health and our environment. To better understand the process, let's take a closer look at how a vapor intrusion site investigation is conducted. The overall approach consists of the following basic steps. Conduct a screening level evaluation to quickly determine if chemicals are at a level of concern and warrant further investigation. Conduct a site-specific evaluation to determine if vapor intrusion is actually occurring at the site. And evaluate corrective actions if necessary. This methodical approach allows us to use the best available science to quickly and efficiently determine the potential for vapor intrusion at any site. Let's look at each step in more detail. First, develop a conceptual site model or CSM to describe the site setting. The CSM is typically a visual portrayal of site conditions that helps with the understanding of contaminant sources, how they move through the environment, and the ways people could be exposed to them. Next, a determination should be made whether there is a potential for acute or short-term vapor intrusion problems for people in the building. If an immediate hazard is identified, it may be necessary to vacate the property until appropriate corrective actions are completed. A determination is then made as to whether chemicals are sufficiently volatile and toxic to be included in a vapor intrusion assessment. Lastly, existing soil gas or groundwater sampling data concentrations are compared with conservative risk-based screening values provided by state, federal, or other regulatory agencies. Based on these considerations, in some instances, it may be determined that vapor intrusion is not occurring. If, however, the screening level evaluation is inconclusive or suggests that vapor intrusion may be occurring, a site-specific evaluation is conducted. This typically involves collecting more site-specific samples. Increasingly, reliance on a single approach or a single type of sampling is not considered adequate to determine the potential for vapor intrusion at a particular site. The current approach is to collect and evaluate multiple lines of evidence to better define the nature and extent of vapor intrusion. These lines of evidence may include groundwater, near-slab soil gas, sub-slab soil gas, crawlspace air, outdoor air, indoor air, building construction, or site geology. The lines of evidence included in each vapor intrusion investigation are determined specifically for each project. An evaluation of groundwater and/or subslab concentrations may conclude that vapor intrusion is not occurring, and sampling additional lines of evidence is not necessary. The lines of evidence should be carefully selected and reviewed together to determine if vapor intrusion is potentially occurring at each site. One of the challenges in conducting a site-specific evaluation is determining if indoor air contaminants are from vapor intrusion or from background sources, such as outdoor air or other products and activities inside the building. Appropriate lines of evidence should be evaluated to help determine the specific source of indoor air contaminants. It may be determined that no further action is necessary because the source of the volatile chemicals is not from contamination under the building. If vapor intrusion is occurring and it is determined that it could pose a risk to building occupants, then corrective actions may be taken to reduce or eliminate potential exposures to people who live and work in these buildings. Types of corrective actions will depend on site-specific conditions and may include building modifications such as relocating building occupants, sealing cracks and utility access points, sealing and venting groundwater sumps, applying vapor barriers under buildings, modifying heating, ventilation, and air conditioning systems to maintain positive pressure indoors. This is achieved by ducting in outside air for furnace combustion or supplying more air to the inside of the building than what is exhausted outside. And installing subslab depressurization systems. These are similar to systems proven effective at preventing radon in soil gas beneath a building from entering the building. Other types of corrective actions may include installing remediation systems designed to remove or reduce the contaminant source. These systems can include groundwater treatment. This is often a very common type of corrective action, as contaminated groundwater is often the source of soil gas and indoor air contamination. Soil vapor extraction systems, which are systems designed specifically to remove the soil vapors before they reach an occupied building. Soil excavation and removal. Monitored natural attenuation, which allows contaminants to naturally degrade. Samples are taken periodically to monitor progress. And enhanced bioremediation, which adds nutrients to the groundwater and allows naturally occurring microorganisms to break the chemicals down even faster. Depending on actual site conditions, these corrective actions may be necessary to reduce the potential for vapor intrusion and the source of contamination. Fortunately, vapor intrusion is not usually the primary cause of indoor air pollution. When it does occur, proper remedial action can be conducted based on information collected during the investigation process to reduce potential exposures. EPA, the Department of Defense, and state governments list human health, safety, and protection of the environment as top priorities. We are working together to identify and investigate potential vapor intrusion issues wherever they may occur. If you suspect that vapor intrusion may be an issue in your area, there are a variety of sources of information available to you. If you are on a Department of Defense installation, please contact your local environmental office for more information regarding the cleanup program on base. You may also contact your state environmental office or regional EPA office for site-specific information in your area. DoD and ITRC guidance documents and DoD policy regarding vapor intrusion are available at these websites. We evaluate suspected vapor intrusion issues on a site-specific basis, following a stepwise procedure using the most up-to-date regulatory guidance available. Please contact your local base environmental office if you have any additional questions. The Navy and Marine Corps Public Health Center in Portsmouth, Virginia, is available to assist you with vapor intrusion investigations and communication by contacting us by phone or email. For additional information regarding our products or services, please see our website.